Let's be brutally honest. Most people think light and darkness are just poetic symbols. But here's the unsettling truth. Every morning, before you even pour your coffee, you've already stepped onto a battlefield. Anxiety lurks in the inbox, fear hides in the news, and despair slips in when you least expect it. And yet the Bible dares to make a counterintuitive claim. God is my light. Not just a comfort, but a weapon. Not just an idea, but a shield that no shadow can extinguish. Think about it. How can someone walk into adversity with their head lifted high? It's not because life got easier. It's because they discovered a secret most people overlook. Fearless faith isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to trust in God right in the middle of it. That's where bold confidence is born, where divine refuge becomes real, where spiritual strength shifts the entire atmosphere. And before we dive deeper, let me ask you something. If this truth sparks something in you, don't just listen, interact. Drop a comment saying, "God is my light," and declare it right now. You'll see how even typing those words begins to silence the darkness inside. Because what we're about to uncover isn't just teaching, it's transformation waiting for you to step in. There are mornings when someone wakes up and feels like the shadows got there first. Before the sun even rises, the heaviness already presses on their chest, whispering that the day will be too much to handle. But here's the truth tucked into that moment. God is my light. That's not just a religious phrase, it's a lifeline. It's spiritual strength breaking through the cracks, reminding them that no amount of darkness has the final word. Think about it. Darkness never argues with light. The smallest candle pushes back the heaviest night. That's exactly how divine refuge works. Even in silence, even when fear rattles the heart, one whisper of fearless faith flips the atmosphere. A student going into an exam, a worker stepping into a stressful meeting, or a mom balancing 3 things at once, all can carry this heavenly light in their chest, like a torch that won't go out. And here's the part most people overlook. Declaring God's presence aloud is like sounding an alarm in the spirit. Faith declarations aren't empty words, they're weapons in spiritual warfare. Saying, "The Lord is my light," isn't just talk, it's drawing a line that darkness can't cross. And while that sentence ends, it quietly points toward a bigger question still echoing in the soul. If this light never fails, then who should I fear?
When someone whispers, "Whom shall I fear?" it's not a question fishing for answers. It's a declaration of bold confidence. Fear thrives on uncertainty, but trust in God dismantles its grip. Think of it like a locked door. Fear bangs on it, yet divine protection stands guard, reminding the heart that no intruder has the right key. When anxiety gets loud, that voice of heavenly light speaks louder, silencing the chaos inside. It's almost humorous, really. Fear tries to puff itself up like a bully in the schoolyard. But when spiritual strength shows up, the bluff gets exposed. Fearless faith works like that. It reduces giants to shadows. A person walking into surgery, facing debt, or standing against rejection doesn't do it alone. They walk in God's presence, and that shifts the balance. Faith doesn't erase problems, but it does change who's holding the weight. Here's the secret. Every time someone declares, "God is my light, whom shall I fear?" they're stepping into a spiritual refuge that storms can't destroy. Faith declarations create a shield, not just for the body, but for the soul healing that everyday stress tries to crush. And right there, a new layer of courage unfolds, a kind of confidence that whispers of battles yet to be fought, hinting that even an army surrounding won't be the end of the story. There's something raw about the phrase, "though an army besiege me." It paints the picture of invisible battles we all fight, panic attacks no one sees, financial pressure that keeps you awake, or family struggles that words can't fix. And yet, in the middle of those unseen wars, divine refuge never shuts its door. God's presence embraces with no conditions, no hidden agenda, no performance required. That's soul healing at its purest. There's a tenderness in the words, "Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me." People know too well the sting of rejection, friends disappearing when things get hard, love turning into silence, promises breaking without explanation. But here's the steady truth: divine refuge never shuts its door. God's presence embraces with no conditions, no hidden agenda, no performance required. That's soul healing at its purest.
Think of it like walking home after a long, cold day and finding the lights on, the door open, and someone waiting. That's what it feels like when bold confidence meets unconditional love. Human affection may fail, but spiritual strength never grows weary. Trust in God rewrites the story others tried to label you with, proving that the deepest kind of acceptance doesn't come from people. It flows from heavenly light. And here's where it gets even more personal. God doesn't just welcome the crowd, He calls by name. The one overlooked in the classroom, the worker ignored in the meeting, the child left out of the game, all of them are seen. Faith declarations remind the soul that being received by God isn't about fitting in, it's about being chosen. And that reality whispers forward. If He welcomes me like this, maybe waiting on the Lord isn't weakness, but strength in disguise. Waiting doesn't sound heroic, yet it's one of the bravest acts of fearless faith. When someone waits on the Lord, they resist the shortcuts that look appealing but lead to emptiness. It's like planting a seed. You don't dig it up every day to check its progress. You trust in God's timing, believing that the unseen roots are just as important as the fruit everyone longs to see. That's spiritual strength, disguised as patience. Think about how the world glorifies speed, fast food, fast money, fast answers. But hope in adversity is never microwave ready. It's slow cooked in the unseen, where divine protection arranges details no human could manage. The person who holds on during the waiting discovers that God's presence isn't idle. It's active, shaping, aligning, preparing. And those hidden preparations are often the very things that carry someone through storms later. Here's the beauty of it. While tears fall, heaven works. While doors seem shut, soul healing happens behind the scenes. And while people wonder why the answer hasn't come yet, heavenly light is busy setting the stage for breakthrough. Faith declarations in the waiting aren't filler words, they're anchors. And as that anchor holds, the heart begins to glimpse another reality. If the waiting is this purposeful, then the light must be closer than it looks. Darkness may boast, but it has no staying power when heavenly light breaks in. Life throws nights that feel endless, financial losses, broken trust, health scares that shake the core. Yet spiritual strength whispers through all of it. God is my light. That flame isn't fragile. It's divine protection wrapped in fire that can't be snuffed out. The deeper the night, the brighter the declaration glows. It's fascinating how fear tries to convince people they're one failure away from collapse. But bold confidence, anchored in trust in God, says otherwise. Imagine someone standing in a blackout with only one candle. It doesn't remove the night, but it makes the space livable. That's what fearless faith does. It doesn't erase every struggle, but it empowers a soul healing strong enough to walk forward anyway. Here's the heartbeat of it all. Declaring God's presence is like setting a banner high where despair wanted to reign. Faith declarations aren't cliches, they're lifelines. They remind the heart that waiting on the Lord isn't passive, it's power in motion. And as that banner waves, a question still hangs in the air, urging every reader to join in. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Right now, the decision is in your hands. You've heard the words, but will you live them? God is my light isn't meant to be a line on a page. It's a fire in your chest, a banner in your home, a shield in your battles. The question is, will you keep living under fear, or will you step into fearless faith and declare it for yourself? Ask yourself, what would shift if you trusted God's presence more than your fears? How different would your nights feel if soul healing became stronger than anxiety? Imagine what could happen if your daily routine was shaped by faith declarations instead of doubts. That's not theory, it's transformation waiting on your yes. So here's the challenge. Don't let this moment slip away. If this message stirred something in your spirit, act on it. Comment below what truth hit you hardest. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on the notifications, because this isn't the end. It's the beginning of a life lived in bold confidence under the unshakable light of God.